Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a truly universal human struggle, that tricky gap between who we think we are and who the rest of the world actually sees. I mean, if you've ever been totally surprised by a piece of feedback from a friend or maybe a performance review at work, well, you've experienced this gap firsthand. We're going to map out exactly how self-awareness works using an incredibly elegant psychological tool. Let's get right into it.
So, how well do you really know yourself? It sounds like a pretty simple question, right? But think about it for a second. We all walk around with this very specific image of ourselves in our heads, but there's almost always a discrepancy between what we know about ourselves and what others are observing about us. We all have blind spots. We all have our secrets. Bridging that gap, that's kind of the ultimate puzzle of personal growth.
To solve that puzzle, we can turn to something called the Johari Window. Originally created back in 1955 as a tool for group dynamics research, it's essentially a literal map of our interpersonal transparency. It gives us this really structured, visual way to understand the gap between our own self-perception and how others perceive us. It's perfectly designed to systematically uncover those hidden personal traits that we either hide from the world or, hide from ourselves. Real quick, before we get into the heavy psychology, I just have to share this fun fact. The name Johari sounds kind of mystical, right? Like maybe it's an ancient philosophical term. Actually, it's literally just a simple mashup. The American psychologists who created it were named Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingham, Joe and Harry. Put them together and boom, you get Johari. Honestly, sometimes the most profound tools have the most practical, everyday origins.
Okay, here is our blueprint for today. 1. The self-awareness gap. 2. The 4 quadrants. 3. Expanding your arena. 4. The 56 adjectives exercise. 5. Real-world applications. And 6. The ultimate meta model. Let's do this. Starting with Section 1, the self-awareness gap, seeing the unseen. Moving into Section 2, the 4 quadrants, mapping your mind. Okay, so the absolute heart of the Johari window is this grid. It maps everything on 2 axes, what is known or unknown to you and what is known or unknown to others. This creates 4 very distinct panes. First up is the arena, or public self. This holds the traits known to both you and others. It's that transparent zone where smooth, easy interaction happens. Second is the blind spot. These are traits others clearly see in you, but you are completely oblivious to. Third is the facade, or your hidden self. These are the traits you absolutely know about yourself, but you actively choose to keep hidden from the world. And finally, the unknown. These are the underlying traits that neither you nor anyone else has discovered quite yet. Every single trait you possess lives somewhere in one of these 4 boxes. Section 3, expanding your arena. A dynamic balance. Now, you don't just figure out where your traits are and stop there, right? Ideally, you want your arena to be as large as possible. Why? Because a larger arena means way more authenticity and much smoother communication. So how do we expand it? 2 ways. First, self-disclosure. When you bravely volunteer your thoughts, your feelings, and hidden experiences, you shrink your facade and push those traits right into the arena. Second is feedback. When you openly receive observations from your peers, without getting defensive, you shrink your blind spot. This window is a dynamic, shifting balance. When you push on one boundary, the whole map shifts with it. Section 4, the 56 adjectives exercise. Assessing your window. You might be wondering how we actually measure this. Well, the classic Johari window exercise isn't some massive, endless questionnaire. It actually uses a highly curated, very specific list of exactly 56 positive personality adjectives. And these aren't just random words. They span multiple dimensions of your personality. They cover social skills like being friendly or extroverted, emotional traits like calm, intellectual qualities like clever, and deep character traits like honest or dependable. The really crucial point is how these adjectives are used. It's just 3 super simple steps. Step 1, you select 5 to 6 adjectives from the list of 56 that you feel best describe you. Step 2, you invite your peers to look at that exact same list and pick 5 to 6 adjectives they think describe you. Step 3, the system automatically cross-references the results. So if you both picked witty, boom, it goes in the arena. If only they picked it, it's a blind spot. If only you picked it, it's a facade. Notice that strict limit of 5 to 6 choices? That constraint is incredibly intentional. It completely forces everyone to prioritize only your most defining, prominent traits, rather than just politely checking off everything that seems kinda accurate.
Now, to get the absolute most out of this, the source material recommends gathering evaluations from about 5 to 10 people. And not just any people, you want them from totally different areas of your life. Ask family members, coworkers, longtime friends, maybe even newer acquaintances. Why? Because the more people who participate, the richer and more reliable the results become. With each additional evaluator from a different context, your blind spot might just reveal traits and patterns you literally never knew you were projecting.
Section 5. Real-world applications. Putting theory to use.
So this is where the framework proves its versatile power in the real world. In the workplace, it is a phenomenal tool for team building. Managers use it all the time to uncover blind spots in their leadership styles, and it acts as a fantastic icebreaker for corporate offsites to foster trust. In education, teachers utilize it to build student empathy and vital social-emotional learning skills, really helping students understand how their peers perceive them. And perhaps most importantly, in our everyday relationships, it provides a safe, structured framework for feedback. Because it focuses entirely on positive adjectives and shared discovery, it significantly reduces that natural defensiveness we literally all feel during personal criticism.
Section 6. The ultimate meta model. Beyond personality.
Look, we are all familiar with traditional personality tests, right? Things like the Myers-Briggs, the Big Five, or DISC assessments. Those tools are built to categorize you. They're essentially trying to tell you what type of person you are. But the Johari window occupies a completely different niche. It honestly doesn't care what your specific personality type is. Instead, it asks, how well do you know yourself? It measures the size of the gap between your self-image and others' perception. In essence, it acts as a meta-model for your overall self-awareness. And this meta-model doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It shares deep foundational connections with Sidney Girard's research on the transparent self, as well as Altman and Taylor's social penetration theory. All of these theories point to one massive, validating conclusion. The true depth of any relationship physically depends on the breadth and depth of your self-disclosure. The Johari window is simply the brilliant tool that quantifies and visualizes that very concept for us. So we've mapped out the arena, uncovered the blind spot, and peeked behind the facade. But that leaves us with one final lingering thought for today. What traits are lurking right now in your unknown quadrant? What hidden strengths, unexpressed talents, or completely undiscovered characteristics are just waiting for the right moment or the right feedback to finally be revealed? Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. I really hope this structured journey leaves you eager to brave the assessment, shrink those blind spots, and expand your arena. Until next time, keep exploring.